On January 1st, the U.S. imposed new sanctions on both Ethiopia and its neighbor Eritrea, alleging that both are guilty of human rights abuse in the Tigray conflict that began when the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, commonly known as the TPLF, attacked an Ethiopian federal army base on the night of November 3, 2020. This week, however, the U.S. Agency for International Development announced that it would invest over $200 million to lift up over 400,000, quote, Oromions, unquote, meaning Oromos, people of the Oromo ethnicity in Ethiopia. The sanctions imposed on Ethiopia on January 1st included cancellation of the country's qualification for trade benefits specified in the African Growth and Opportunity Act. The act, signed by Bill Clinton in the year 2000, had given tariff-free import access to goods manufactured in Ethiopia, after which Ethiopian exports to the U.S. rose from 28 million to 300 million over the next 20 years. Why then would USAID announce over $200 million in aid for one of Ethiopia's three largest ethnic groups, the Oromo, 4 weeks after imposing sanctions that will affect the entire Ethiopian population? Many Ethiopians were quick to accuse USAID of implementing a divide and conquer strategy to weaken the federal government, which has made overcoming ethnic division one of its primary goals. I spoke to Eritrean American doctor and activist Simon Tesfamariam about why Eritrea expelled USAID 15 years ago.
I know we saw all these conspiracies by USAID where Cuba would reject them, Russia, other countries, but what people don't understand is that Eritrea was one of the first to do that in 2005 or 2006, I want to say. And by getting rid of USAID, they were able to stop all the nefarious activities that they were up to in the country. Similarly, like you said, they didn't take handouts and aid and seeing it as a crippling tool. It's not anti-aid and anti-assistance from outside nations, but the feeling that it could be used in a way to control the country by strings attached. That was always the issue. And so Eritrea rejected this. Again, Eritrea has a very independent policy, is self-reliant. So I think this is the focus of Eritrea moving forward and a reason why it sees so much hostility from the United States.
When you say USAID, do you mean aid from the U.S. or do you mean more specifically United States Agency for International Development, USAID?
The latter.
Okay. And as I understand it, Eritrea met all of the UN's Millennium Development Goals regarding health and education, despite not taking any aid or loans, crippling loans. It was the only nation in Africa that met those goals regarding health and education. Is that right?
That's correct. And it did it at a time when it was under sanctions, when you couldn't get basic medicines, you couldn't get ambulances, you couldn't get servers for electronic medical record systems if Eritrea wanted to put one of those up, install one of those in the country. So in so many ways, it was challenged at every corner, and yet it was able to achieve the Millennium Development Goals, which I think is a story that really needs to be told.
That was Eritrean American doctor and activist Simon Tesfamariam. In Berkeley, for Pacifica, KPFA Radio, I'm Ann Garrison.